and really that moving beyond working in silos. We have to always remain vigilant and aware that Black lives are already at a disadvantage due to some structural and institutional changes. So while we're all working together, it is up to us to keep in mind that Black lives do matter, and it's no way taken away from any other marginalized or oppressed group. And the reason I say this is because the middle class, it's disappearing. And if we're all paying attention, we have elections going on. If the lower half, the lower underclass and the middle class, if we keep on fighting one another for the same resources, then we're going to continuously see the top 1% continue to gain all the wealth. And so what we need to do is realize that the issues are about humanity and about human rights, and not more so about any particular group, because all people face the same challenges. Just some groups of people are disproportionately affected by those challenges. And so that's the reason why, to me, Black lives will always matter. But at the same time, we have to all know that we're fighting these battles together. And this is kind of the way I see things, is that all people fight two battles every morning when they wake up, regardless of any classification or category. And that's white supremacy and capitalism. At the end of the day, the root of most things result from white supremacy and capitalism. So I think all of us collectively are fighting those things. But disadvantaged populations, marginalized people, they have to fight more things than just white supremacy and capitalism. And that's structural, institutional racisms and discriminations and other kind of ways that we can be discriminated against. And so some of the issues I want all of you to keep in mind while we're out here today, although we don't have a speaker for every single issue, but we know that there are people that could be working on these issues. And so as we're out here today, hopefully networking amongst each other, we can determine who's working on what issues. But some that are specific to Central Virginia and Richmond area, and the counties as well, and the state, are mass incarceration. We need to think about that as a group. School to prison pipeline, housing discrimination, trans lives, LGBTQ lives, mass evictions of our public housing residents here in Richmond, poverty, the lack of political activism amongst us, collaborative justice. When we think about how can we as a community work with our justice system, we need to think collaborative justice. They need to know who we are, we need to know who they are. Restorative justice, helping our youth, making sure that they're avoiding incarceration unnecessarily. Richmond Public Schools Code of Conduct, how they're handling our special needs children, our children with disabilities. Student activism. We have several universities nearby, and we all know historically our students led us pretty much through most of our challenges. Our Native American population, any other allies we may have. We have to think about things such as immigration. The senior population in Richmond, it's growing pretty substantially. SOLs, a lot of parents don't like SOLs. There's groups that have been formed called opt-out. Are we all in agreement with getting rid of our SOLs, or are we not? How do we address our legislators? Petersburg is concerned for all of us living here. They have some of the worst numbers in the entire nation, not only just the state. Economic empowerment in our communities. Youth incarceration I mentioned. Concentrated poverty on the East End. How do we concentrate the East End without displacing people? How do we come together and work on that? Minimum wage, also a concern as well. And so those are some of the issues that impact Central Virginia, and I think each of you out here are impacted by. So that's why we want to make sure that we keep Black Lives Matter in the front, because those issues affect us disproportionately, but all of those issues affect all of us, no matter race, color, creed, sexual orientation, or any of those things. And so we're going to go ahead and move into our first spoken word piece, and then after that we'll hear speakers. We're going to talk about, we have speakers here today that are going to discuss school to prison, mass incarceration, self-advocacy. We have speakers about environmental justice, as well as a lot of other folks out in the audience. And so Googs is going to give us a really quick piece. And if you do have any information with you that you want to pass out, please feel free to pass it out. There are several petitions. Please feel free to find out about those petitions. One of those petitions that I have is a New Virginia majority, and it's signed to Mayor Dwight Jones, and is to take action to reduce the disproportionate amount of African Americans incarcerated and labeled as felons in Virginia for nonviolent crimes. So this petition is floating around. Talicia right there in the back has those. We would love to get your signatures for those. But let's go ahead and get some entertainment real quick. Googs, come on. And if you can, try to remain on the hill, and if you can't, that's fine. You don't have to get on the hill.
How's everyone doing today? Y'all make some noise for y'all being out here today. It's really great. There's a lot of issues that's going on in this world that we're trying to overcome slowly but surely, and I'm sure that everything is going to come together one day, because there's a lot of people out here with different, businesses and organizations that's really trying for our community, and I really respect that from you all, because I'm a foster child, you know, and I grew up in foster care, so I've been really trying to speak for our youth in foster care and everything that's, you know, people been going through. So, you know, I really appreciate everybody that's working hard in that, and I respect you all. But this spoken word piece is not leaning on a specific situation or, you know, problem that's going on, but I feel like it's a good and some good entertainment. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let me take this off. All right. Now it's my turn, coming on the beat. W, my favorite letter, cause I never catch defeat. Man, forget them haters, cause I murder instrumentals, you can just cremate her. I grew up on the grind with the paper on my mind, trying to get my bread up. Forgot to sip up on the wine, striving to become something, cause I ain't really have nothing. I play with life so much, don't even got a stop button. I wish I could rewind, but I know that can't happen. My cuz got murdered, that's when I started rapping. Dissing songs out like I'm in the hood trapping. Had to build a fan base, so when the shows I heard clapping. Music nowadays don't even have a true meaning. Sex, money, and drugs, that's all we conceiving. We all have dreams, stuff that we believe in. It's hell out on these streets, make them dreams look deceiving. I done been rained on through the storms and snow, but if you ask me who I am, they be like, yeah, I know. Meek Mill said you gotta see it with a clear eye view. I sent my music Gmail, even try Yahoo. See, I'm trying to get this dough, I gotta make these moves. These people try to sleep on me, yeah, they hit the snooze. Let me lighten up the game, need a new fuse, cause every time I drop a song, it pick up all the views. My flow's so sick, had to take a cough. Come back on the beat to show 'em I ain't falling off. Grandma looking over like a crib with a loft. Been working so hard, became hard to work soft. Lyrically, I'm the remedy, just an epiphany. Thought you had me down, but you gotta be kidding me. Not up on my level, my size, you ain't fitting me. Starting 5, coach, no need, ain't no sitting me. Girls trying to grab bone, but really ain't clenching me. Trying to take my spot, and you couldn't no benching me. Spirits through your body, by the way, what's up, Brittany? Houston could rock it, but not without Whitney. Coming off on my tracks like no other, cause if you're ready, you understand, put that on my mother. Life is crazy, cause the one you think is your lover be the same shorty low-key mess around with your brother. Told you from the jump that I was no fake, but when you try to look through me, I appeared opaque. Flipping through the channels of my life, no remote. Reminiscing on the times, put on blast for a note. It's difficult in this world that we are in. I'm 19 already, feeling like I'm too far in. Changing up my disguise like the great Clark Kent. I try to send a warning message, but it couldn't be sent. Been through a lot of different homes, different descent. Some try to do me dirty, hope you feel to repent. If I want to make it in the big, I gotta hop up in the deep end. I know I can't swim, but I'm just trying to get my feet in. I'm running with the game, know I gotta get my cleat in. White bread in the past, time to bring the wheat in. Some girls are tricky, but I just do the treat in. Goog's new butcher, it's time to bring the meat in. Society is really hectic, think we need to change. Thinking we the best, don't take the time to even train. No seconds or thirds, only time for the main, cause she be there for me when I wanna go insane. I'ma give her all the world and what it don't offer, and pray every night that the good Lord just watching. From the time that I was born to the time that I leave, I hope the message that I'm throwing others really receive, and them pains that you have and can't work with or leave, because there's still certain things medicine can't relieve. Took in a lot of advice from people that I know, so it just wouldn't be right if I didn't grow. Got the flow, fast, slow, hot like Tabasco, but if you end up in jail, then you don't pass go. So if you really have a dream, go all out to achieve, cause another man's hating when the other succeeds. Got the cure to the game, nurse, there is a disease, so let me inject the game, fill it with the vaccine. Good, thank you.
Thank you, Goose. I love to give our youth and our young men opportunities to express themselves, because oftentimes this is how they express themselves, so I really appreciate it. Next we're going to hear from Lorraine Wright, and she is with a nonprofit that's called I Vote For Me, and she's going to talk a little bit about self-advocacy.
Good afternoon, Richmond family.
Good afternoon.
And I say family very intentionally because we need to restore this sense of community that's been lost. This movement today is really about humanity and recognizing not only our differences, but also what makes us unique, but what pulls us together. So again, my name is Lorraine Wright. I represent a nonprofit called I Vote For Me, in addition to Advocates for Equities in Schools and Henrico Coalition. And I do want to take a little time to talk about self-advocacy today. Self-advocacy is about you voting for you. And so many times in life, we take so much time and spend so much energy campaigning for others' causes. I want to share a really, I feel, insightful quote from a 13th century philosopher, poet, theologian called Rumi. And he says, "Yesterday I was clever and I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself." What we have to recognize is that it begins with us. Wall Street is not checking for you. We can't expect Wall Street to really rally our causes, because what a movement is, what an effective movement is it's led by those who are impacted by the issues. So I Vote For Me is a nonprofit organization that's really premised on education, empowerment, and igniting a community to movement. And movement, guys, that's an action word. So let me start with the education piece, because education in its current format really is indoctrination. We're told how to think, how to feel, how to react, how to respond. I want you guys to understand that right now in some states, they're changing social studies and history books to really kind of categorize slavery as a mass migration. Now, I'm not sure if you guys understand that migration is voluntary. So we need to make sure that we're educating our children. We're not just accepting what's being told to us. I'm a resident of Henrico County. That's where I pay taxes, but Henrico County was listed in the UCLA Civil Remedies Study, published in 2012, as third in the nation for violating the civil rights of African American males and students with disabilities. That's concerning for me. What you guys probably already know, may not know, but the Center for Public Integrity earlier this year came out with an article that says Virginia is #1, leading the nation in school-based referrals to the criminal justice system. I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm all for notoriety. This is not what we want to be known for. But it starts with us. It starts with us. And when Gandhi said we have to be the change that we want to see, there's nothing more true than that. Self-advocacy means you have to learn what it is you need to empower yourself and then move. We're living in a time right now, I think we can equate it to the civil rights era. It's not apples to apples, but there's some really powerful movements going on right now. I want to leave you guys with two last thoughts before I leave. There was a really powerful illustration that I saw on YouTube and on Facebook not too long ago. There was a group of white men sitting around what seemed to be a table with a game board. And I said what seemed to be a table because when you look a little bit closer, there are black men that are crouched down and the game board is on their backs. And the caption simply stated, if we would all stand up, it would be game over. Does that make sense? We have to move. There's one more quote that I want to leave you with. There's a poet and a philosopher, his name is Bill Bennett, and he says, how we walk with the broken speaks louder than how we sit with the great. Guys, I'm not interested in sitting with the great. I want to move. I want to walk with the broken, because that's where the power lies. We have so many really important elections coming up locally as well as nationwide. We have to pay attention. Again, when we talk about education, we have to research and find out information on our own. It can't be left to social media and current media, mainstream media. Do you understand that ABC, Fox, NBC, even CNN, those are all very, very, very guided, opinionated, and very, again, strategic and intentional to impact your thought process to think a certain way. And that's about all issues, LGBT issues, black, white issues. But these are issues of humanity. And I think the president really underscored it in a unique way just a couple of days ago. And when he said, again, kind of sort of to defend the all black or Black Lives Matter movement, and really, he said it's not saying that human lives don't matter. It's just saying that we can't continue to turn a blind eye to the atrocities, overt, blatant atrocities that are happening to the black community as if our lives don't matter. And just a very personal note on that, on Friday morning before school, about 6 o'clock, my daughter and I woke up and we were watching the local news. They were talking about in Mississippi how there is right now there are protests going on to change the flag. And there were protesters out there. One had a sign that said, "Black lives don't matter." And so my 9-year-old asked me, "Mommy, why is he holding that sign? Black lives don't matter." It's traumatic to have that conversation, and for the psyche of a 9-year-old to be impacted by words like that. These are images, words, conversation, dialogue that she sees on a day-to-day basis in our mainstream media. This is trauma to the Black community, to the LGBT community, to humanity. But again, it's on us. We need to change ourselves first. We need to walk the right walk. We need to not accept everything that's told to us. We need to know how to advocate for ourselves effectively, and that's by voting for you. Thank you so much.